Kia ora and welcome to FTP Podcast. No, it's not what you think. We're actually here to free the people. My name is Dion Freeman and I'll be your guide and host as we go on this epic journey together, discovering ways that we can free the
Kia ora, my brother. No mai hara mai, welcome. Not sure exactly where this bit of footage will go, but yeah, I'm definitely keen to introduce you to my peeps. There's a podcast that's starting up called FTP, which isn't what it sounds like. It's about, freeing the people and feeding the people and yeah, kind of in a little way, F the policy, not necessarily the 5-0. So for those who know, they know, but also just social media, blah. And then Way of the Warrior is actually what we're here to have a korero about. And so please, my brother, take the floor, introduce yourself, and that'll be awesome.
Mauri ora, ko wai, ko Te Ururangi tōku ingoa, heuri tēnei no te awa wanga nui ngā te tū ore toa, Rarotonga. So born and raised in a little place called Martin, in the Rangitike district. And Martin, just being on the outskirts of my marae Tukurangi, I think the old people moved to the nearest town to work back in the day because, living on the marae and that, they wanted a change of life. Hence why my koro and my nan moved to Martin. Grew up there till I was about 15, in trouble, naughty young fella, done this and that, and then I got the opportunity to move down to Otaki where I sort of dived into a little bit of te ao Māori, learning how to traditional fish, setting nets, a little bit of sailing waka, and then from there moved back to Martin, started playing league, started getting into that scene. I was about 17 to move to Palmy. I was there for about 12 years, learned how to carve, and I had my first, my oldest daughter, Awarere. So I decided I better get a job. So I went and done my trade, painting and decorating trade. I was qualified by the time I was 22. And then along the journey, I sort of picked up the tattoo guns. Started practicing on all the cuzzies and, I got, pretty good at it. So I started learning how to do Moko and things like that. My tamariki started having more tamariki, started growing my family. I picked up a lot of skills. I learned how to, I got into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That was about 14 years ago. Even though I was learning all these skills and that, I was still doing a few things that wasn't too good. Went through the heartbreak stuff, went through the relationship stuff. I ended up on my own and, going through the depression stuff. And then I ended up back in Wanganui, and I've been here for about 8 years. Still on the journey, still practicing jiu-jitsu, still doing moko, and I had an opportunity to go to Rotorua carving school. So my passion for carving reignited. And all these things, I keep practicing. And the more I practice and the more awareness I bring into myself, I knew I needed to start healing some of the stuff because I still carried it all the way, even though I had learned all these different skills. And I started seeing these skills that I carried a little bit differently. I started diving into each of them and breaking them right down, and with awareness to see how they can help heal me. And the last 4 years, definitely 3 years, I've just been diving deep. Just going through all the different phases and, coming back into myself, coming back within. It's been a good journey, and now I'm here.
Older brother. For me, it's always good to learn new stuff about you, bro. I didn't realize we had the painting and decorating thing common as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So yeah, my cutting in is yeah. And it's usually whenever I walk into a whare, it's the first thing I look at.
I
Check
bet
out
this
the
goes.
cutting in.
Yeah,
Oh,
cool.
yeah, bro. So I guess the one of the big reasons, well, I first come across you on social media for almond milk years ago when I was in Otepoti, Dunedin, and I was it was like a magnetized to your wairua. And I was like, this fella feels a little bit like me, like because I could tell by the korero in it that it was deeper than just making almond milk. You know what I mean? And so that something that sort of blew up for you or blew you up, like as far as like having your face out there, you know, was that part of it?
Yeah, I had a vision actually, and the vision was about creating this page using Kai because I knew Kai brings people together,
Yeah.
and I started telling all the bros I'm going to create this page about gathering Kai because I've always gathered Kai since I was young, diving everything, and I try to figure out a way how I'm going to capture people's attention because at the time I was on a sovereign journey trying to learn, all the corruption in the system, how to get around it using the lawful terms and all that sort of thing. And then I thought, because I was drinking almond milk, so I looked at the ingredients and it said nuts, water, and I was like, hey. So I thought, oh, yeah, I'm going to make my own. So I started putting my own ingredients and I was buzzing out when I, grinded it all up and went white. I was like, man, this looks like milk. So I was like, oh, yeah. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to do a video. I'm going to make almond milk, but at the same time, I'm going to create a korero that's going to capture people to sort of bring awareness around what's happening in the system and that because at the time I was on the 1080 wagon protesting 1080 seabed mining, all of those sort of things. Wherever there was protests, I was there.
Yep.
So I thought, yep, I'm gonna make this milk and it's gonna capture people. And I checked it on this page that I created, Aotearoa Kai Gatherers, and it went viral, man. In a month it had like 2 million views, and people from all around the world were like messaging me like, wow, what you were saying, it's true. A lot of people were captured by what I was saying. And from there, our page grew. It went from 1,000 to 20,000 in like a week. And it just kept growing. And after that, because I just made that milk up. After that, I went vegan. I went vegan. I was growing Kai in that, but man, I dug up my whole back lawn. I just grew all this different Kai, and for a whole year I was just eating straight out of the garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I sort of went on a journey, just creating awareness around Kai, sharing how I grow, and just some of the things that I got up to over the last 4 or 5 years, and the page just blew up. Got to like 80,000 followers. But only just recently, I sort of cut that obligation to keep sharing that awareness on their page. I just thought I'm going to let it go.
Yeah.
Because I was attached to it, and I really was, and I had done what I needed to. I made the connections with the people that I needed to in my life to help support our collective or our journey that we're all on. And the number one thing, it was all about the healing. It was about healing the people. Right. I use Kai because we all love Kai to do that. So yeah,
Ozzy and out of it, and what a sign of maturity to be able to let that go. So is the page is still operational?
It's still operating. I do pop on there sometimes, but I'm just going to flow with it until someone reaches out or someone's going to show interest, and I'm going to go like, yep, that person, I'm going to gift it to them because Yeah, I've come back within. I've done what I needed to with that page and made my connections, and we have a collective
Yeah,
of
bro.
people that vibrate on the same frequency. So now it's coming back within my own journey now.
Yeah, awesome, bro. Rawe,
Yeah,
that's amazing. And yeah, I'm been an avid member for years, bro. So like, um, and I didn't know that you created the page. I just know that's where I would have seen it, seen you first. And then I'm pretty sure I reached out to you, or we commented on something, or I commented on something, and that's how we created a connection. But in all honesty, bro, I never expected to hear back from you. I'm pretty sure I reached out, eh?
yeah.
So I'm just in a fancy building where the lights go off automatically. So, oh yeah, stand up and they come back on. Um, yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's how it happened. And then we've only really been in, I guess, face-to-face connection for the last maybe year or maybe a bit longer. And a big part of what I'm up to, bro, is hono hono and putting my nan and my ancestors' medicine out there. And I remember real early on, I think how I reached out was like, hey, if you ever feel like you're keen for a hono hono session, and I remember you saying, oh, it's all good, thanks, brother. I've got my own healers, And I remember being like, yeah, sure, kei te pai. Or if you ever want to catch up. And I think, I just remember you sort of saying like, oh yeah, we're on a similar wavelength. And so we ended up catching up in Whanganui and kicking out, and you ended up receiving a session. So do you want to just explain how things were from your side, and then how that session was for you, bro, and we'll sort of go on through the journey from there.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. For me, I did carry, a lot of aches and pains, and with all my injuries and aches, and that is always a spiritual reason. I knew that, and when we had korero prior catching up in the physical, a lot of things that you were replaying back to me resonated, and I knew straight away, yep. And it sort of, drew me towards your mahi and your craft. And when you said you'll come through, I was like, yep, it's a good opportunity to actually connect into the brother, because, it's an authentic a mahi that you do, in comparison to a lot of my friends here that hold the similar space, not the same, but a similar space. And being a male, we know each other's journey, being this masculine being. And so, when we did connect up in that space, it was funny because, the Airbnb that we stayed at, the owner was the principal of the kuta that my kids go to.
Yeah, buzzy, eh?
Yeah. But being on that table and just how you operate in that, everything is sacred. Just the way you set up in there, and it did take me into a deep space. And everything that you hit on the head, and all the aches that you were sort of pushing out of the body, was, what you were playing back to me all made sense, and it was all that you said.
Yeah.
And and occasionally over the time, since then till now, you sort of touch base. It's been a while, but I've sort of replied back to you on, some of the aches that sort of I carry in there, and then you always had a bit of a corridor to it. And it's sort of just, bit of guidance. It's always good to hear outside of myself.
Yeah.
Because I've come so much within, and to actually hear from, someone like yourself, being open to receive those messages as well. It sort of, helps my journey as well. But looking forward to actually connecting in that space again.
Yeah,
Just
running it properly, eh?
yeah, yep.
And with others, bro. I think that's going to be super powerful. And it's only in a couple of days, brother. So yeah, no, thank you, bro. I think the coolest part for me actually was you're the first person that those the hono oracle cards have ever been touched or used by anybody else. So they were christened by you, bro, on that journey. Apart from that, I was the only person who had ever touched them, and that was massive for me to be able to, because I'd carried them around for a while, eh? And there was deep karakia and yeah, wānanga with them for myself. And my whole thing is I can't put out this unless I know it works. And then, yeah, I like rocked up and they were like, now. And yeah, so the fact that they sort of brought up what was going on for you as well, straight off the bat, and like technically I didn't really know you then. So I think that was like, oh yeah, shot. And for me and everything I do, bro, the proof's got to be in the pudding. You know, like that's one of my nan's biggest sayings to me. So yeah, and then I guess just to go back on the Tane space, yeah, I feel like just connecting with you in the person and the physical, definitely similarities, like as far as making the conscious choice to self-improvement, making the conscious choice to leave old ways behind, making the conscious choice to, you know, be a tall poppy in that world of Tane or men stepping into the healing, you know, was, yeah, I could feel it with you, brother. And right down to you taking me to a spot to like go and acknowledge the sunset, bro. Like I was like, wow, this fella, like I can say the older versions of us would have been cracking up. You know, and probably had some real shitty words about it, but the feeling still would have been the same. So, yeah, just massive acknowledgement to you, bro, and for having me in your hometown space. That was awesome. And like getting to meet all of your kids in the first like 24 hours of being there when that was never planned was also, I think, and epic and good tohu, you know, as a couple of people who really follow those tohu. So, bro, I want to just touch on now the way I explain, I guess, who you are to me in a sense. When people ask, "Oh, who's this fella you keep talking about?" is the saying, "I would rather be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in a war." And for me, bro, you're both of that because I can grow kai, but I've never really like. For me, gardening was a punishment, bro, growing up. So I know it takes a warrior to get in the garden, but also to have a warrior if shit ever hit the fan. And you know, let's face it, right now, that's not really a thing in either of our worlds. But to hold a black belt in any form of martial arts, bro, deserves respect, you know. And it's a massive feat and one that I hope to achieve one day, bro. It'll probably take me a bit longer. But as a avid martial artist, and I love it, bro. I love the discipline, the self-mastery. I'm probably a little bit less disciplined in my older age, you know. But actually, when I started healing, the art form changed to I don't want to hurt anyone. So my Mr. Miyagi goes to healing now. But can you just give the people at home a little bit of I guess a little bit of your journey of being that warrior, that black belt, but still a black belt in the garden, and still, I guess what drew you to jiu-jitsu, bro? Because that's like a black belt is a lifelong dedication, and commitment, and especially jiu-jitsu, bro. So yeah, walk us through.
Well, I'll think about maybe 20 years ago. I seen some footage on TV. There was a couple of guys that were traveling all around Aotearoa teaching this jiu-jitsu on the ground, this arm bars and all this, and man, they had nothing. All they had was a car, and they were just going out of their way just to teach this art form. I was like, man, I need to learn that. But it probably wasn't until like another 5 or 6 years later where I heard about, these guys training. At the time I was in Palmy, in Highbury. It's pretty well known to be gangster in Highbury. So I heard they were training, so I went down and I watched. And when I watched, a few of the bros that I grew up with in Martin were all there, and they were all, they were all gangsters, and they were all training, and I was like, that even drew me more to it. So I thought, I'll come back down. So I came back down. But the real reason why I started jiu-jitsu is to be tough and beat up people. Because being young, the ego, that's the honest truth. Now it's, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to just be tough and learn this art form so I could protect myself, But after doing it for so long, it probably wasn't until the last 4-5 years, actually, when I started teaching myself here in Wanganui. I set up Southern Tribes, Tsunami Southern Tribes, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Wanganui. And I started seeing people just, open their eyes and the passion they had for it. I knew it was healing. From when I first started to, a few years later, man, I knew it wasn't about fighting. Not at all. It was about healing.
Yeah.
It was about a journey within. It was about self-discipline, self-confidence, self-empowerment, self-worth, self-love. It all came back to self. And that was the true intention and what I carry now.
Yeah.
14 years later, I get my black belt and all that. But the black belt for me wasn't about jiu-jitsu itself. It was about everything that I've done in my journey of life to get to where I am at that point of time. All those things on and off the mat. And it's a beautiful thing. It really is. And that's sort of where my intention lies within that art form right now as we speak.
Yeah.
And you spoke about the garden. Yep. Marakai has always been my passion.
Yeah. How did that start?
I've sort of had a mara for years. Even when I was younger, I grew tomatoes and lettuce in there. I love the idea of just eating what you catch with your hands. I've always loved it because it was my mum's brother used to take us diving when we were 8, 9, and we weren't allowed to eat until we actually got something off the rock. That's how hard he was. And he lived on the farm, so he had all the animals. That's how he lived. He lived strictly off the land. And, I always had the fire inside. When you would go with your dad and that to go and catch eels and go and gather kai, there was that inner child that just, you could feel it. And that's what it done for me. And, even when I'm in the mud and I see what I'm growing, it just ignites this fire within, and it feeds the inner child. It really does. Yeah, so that's why I love Marakai so much. It's me for the rest till I leave this earth.
Yeah, bro. Oh, that's epic and inspiring, bro. Yeah. So just to go back to the martial arts and the jiu-jitsu thing, my first year of jiu-jitsu, bro, because I think I haven't thrown a punch in anger since probably 2008. And used to be my first thing, and then I would ask the questions later. And just started off being angry, but actually, like, when I first wanted to learn martial arts was actually just because my uncle was black belt, and I was like, I want to be like him. Same buzz, bro. I want to be tough. And as a harder uncle, he was too tough for me, like, and as a kid, like, just felt, I don't really use the word anymore, but back in the 80s, it was like, hey, fucking pussy, because I was soft-hearted, bro. But also it wasn't a nurturing environment to learn, because I guess I was his nephew, so everyone's like, oh, you're going to smash the teacher's nephew, get one up, so it was a rough sort of environment. But for me, it was actually going inside, or actually before that, as soon as my best friend took his life, that was when I was like, and we used to spar on our, I'd say our lunch break, but we'd wag school and just spar. And I didn't realize it until I went inside that he was all Jeet Kune Do. And then that came to me when I was inside, and it for the first time, it actually instilled a discipline in me. And then I realized how powerful that was, and that I didn't want to go around creating a path of destruction. And I didn't want to go back to jail, So, and then long story short, bro, last time I threw a punch in anger, really, really hurt somebody. It was like, I give up. I give up the nightclubs. I give up this lifestyle, and was just full ball into the healing. And from there, and I still haven't punched anybody out of anger since. But it was probably about 8 years ago that a flatmate in Tahuna, Queenstown, was like, bro, you need to come to class with me, come to jiu-jitsu. And I was like, nah, bro, I don't fight anymore. And he's like, it's not fighting, it's problem solving. And I was like, hey. And so I went for a laugh, bro, and I was hooked. But my first year was full of injury, bro. But as we spoke of when we first met with the hono, it tells you what the internal issues are. So that first year, I was working through childhood trauma as I was getting smashed on the mats, and and I guess just what I learned as a older, starting real late into jiu-jitsu is if you only go 60%, you learn more, you get less injured, and it's like that sip, stay, and play if you're a drinker, It means you get more out of it, and I've learned more from going 60%, and you only need to go 100 when you need to get out of something, So learning as an older person has been awesome. And I think what I've realized in life when I'm struggling with stuff is those jiu-jitsu like, every now and again, life puts you in a chokehold. Every now and again, life puts you in an armbar, or those outer problems that we face, or relationships. And to me, it all become jiu-jitsu.
Giving you the ability to think 5 steps ahead.
I'm blue belt, bro, so it's about 2. But I'm getting there. And then the mara, bro, I had a real short stint of growing pot, and that was the first time I got excited about what I'd pulled off that yield. And I used to read to the plants, and I would read spiritual books and recite poetry, because I wanted that weed, whoever smoked it, to be wairua smart. And then in Tahuna, Queenstown, it was more, I started getting into the mara a little bit, or the garden a little bit, but more with a partner that I was with at the time. And I guess I was like, she's got the green thumb. But now again, like you've re-inspired me, and that's part of it, bro. Because I guess for me, that kai sustainability or self-sovereignty of growing your own kai, nourishing your own thing. Like I'm late to the party, brother, but I'm still about it. And I think, I would like to be a warrior in the garden, bro. You know,
definitely requires a lot of energy, you know, and you know, we're sort of being suppressed into a way of life where we got to do this 9 to 5 sort of a work, and working all day, it's a lot of energy you use. So it's hard to like get in the mata, you know, you got to really push yourself into another level just to keep on top of it.
Yeah.
As opposed to like in the old days, that's how we survived. We just done mata, hunted, and gathered kai because we had the time, and it was reciprocating. We didn't have to, you know, feed someone else's dream living in this 9 to 5 system. But me, you know, I'm just lucky, you know, I can do my own thing, and I try and balance it out where I can, so I can give energy here. I can do something else where I can get my energy levels back up, so I can give energy into this space, and then so for my journey, it's about energy, giving and receiving at the same time, and going back to the taiao, going back to nature. It's definitely receiving. You fill your cup up,
Andy.
but you got to have that awareness and set your attentions for those spaces. And it's like everywhere you go on your journey, you know, you're just having that that awareness on why you do what you do, you know, on your journey, having a purpose for what you do, and everything is sacred.
100% G.
Everything. And that's how we have to treat ourselves, because, you know, if we love ourselves that much, you know, that's how we have to see ourselves.
100%, brother. Epic. So the program you're coming down to, and we spoke about this before, like facilitate some learnings as well as fill your own cup up at the same time, but is called Way of the Warrior. And like again, bro, for me you're the epitome of a not only an old school warrior, but a modern day warrior, you know, like provider of the kai, martial artist, but also you're a father, a partner, and another realm, bro, of I guess like Wairua tour is the way I would sort of describe it. You've got that warrior spirit, but you're also a spiritual warrior. But you hold a space that not many are, number one, allowed in. Number two, have the courage, bro. So your Moko is another aspect of marking someone as a warrior, and also from a healing point of view, from my side, bro, like bloodletting is a form of healing that releases the deep mamai and the ancestral mamai. So can you give us a little korero around that space for you, and maybe what it means for you? Like, do you feel like you're bringing out their warrior internally to the surface? Like, yeah, can you please explain a little bit of that journey for us?
Yeah. Been doing Moko for about 13, 14 years now. Since I started, you know, it was all just about, doing Moko. At the time, my intention was more about the money. Yeah, I'm a tattooist because I was watching these people with their tattoo shops and that. But along the journey, I started diving deeper into my own self, you know, the healing journey, and that, especially the last 5 years, even till now, I'm growing, and I'm finding myself diving deeper on the journey in every space that I go into to apply this ancient marking. I'm always learning more, and everything around me is becoming more sacred. How I prepare myself before I go into that space, connecting with the recipient that's about to wear the mahi that I put on them, and helping them guide them a few days before, or just to prepare themselves all the way to the finish line. So I was in Kawerau last weekend, or a couple of weekends ago. Part of the Whareaio crew. We're there, and one of the po was about to receive his marking, so he asked me if I could do his matora. Just the team there holding that space without me needing to do it, so I could focus directly on the mahi itself.
Yeah.
Man, it took me on another level. It really did. I really dropped deep on it, because I fast before I go into that space. I do a 3-day fast. And when I connect to the recipient, I get them to midi, just the areas they're about to get etched. So they're midi, the areas. I get them to do a couple of day fast just before they enter the space. Connect with them on a level, because you're right, brother. When you, especially us men, when we go over a lot of the lines that are on our face, we release a lot of built up trauma, because these lines here actually, when we screw our face, like when we're angry, that's where a lot of the lines are. So they're like meridian energies. You release a lot of pressure that's built up in there. And I have this awareness korero with the people that embark on the journey, because you're going into a new version of yourself.
Yeah.
You are, and you have to really set the intention for why you're going into that space. Because you're receiving, but you have to sacrifice a lot of things that don't serve you any good. Because for me, it's about self-empowering, self-empowerment, empowering yourself. It really is. And for me, that means giving up all those things that don't serve you any good, and creating new space in order to learn new things that are going to help build your foundation of your own well-being. But even more, connecting back into Te Ao Māori and the blueprint that has been laid down for generations and generations of how our ancestors viewed the world that we live in, the natural world. So learning more about that and your connection into that world, which is your whakapapa. Everyone has one.
Feeling on, bro.
Oh, getting zapped up.
Oh, massive. Yeah, brother.
Just a brief korero.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the whole point of these korero, these conversations, is to promote you further, bro. And I got this is a personal question. Have you ever had people talk to you about having I don't know, like ghost moko, where your face is getting etched, like you're receiving it, but literally it's by nobody present? Have you ever heard korero on that?
Rarely. I have, though. Like, people can feel the pain without receiving it.
Yeah, and even that. Yeah. Like
something in their line coming, something in their bloodline coming through, eh?
Yeah.
Someone reaching out, or
so that happened personally for me at my marae, and I was like, not happening. But literally it felt like it was like happening, and my skin was reacting, but no one was there. It was literally just me lying down in my marae. Like, it was weird. And also being able to visualize it on my face, under my skin, with it was just weird. Well, I've gone off topic here, bro. But we'll connect in when we see each other the end of the week. So just another little couple more questions, brother, and then we'll wrap it up because it's late for both of us. When you think of the word warrior, what comes to mind or who comes to mind for you? Yeah, in your scope or your sphere or your ahua, when you hear that word warrior.
When I hear that word warrior, straight away what comes to mind is like big tough ancestor with a weapon.
Okay.
But when I sort of connect into my divine self, and my definition for the word warrior, is someone that's on their journey, that's overcoming a lot of the challenges that are coming their way. Some of the ups and downs, the struggles of life, the things that we have to face that a lot of people ran away from, diving into the spaces of uncomfortability. All those things are going to help us grow. All the different skills and all the different crafts that we learn here on earth, those things that we carry, and someone that operates from the heart space. For me, that's the definition of a warrior. So being young and thinking about what a warrior is, straight away, big muscly man with a weapon like an ancestor. But as I evolved and grew on my journey, that definition that I just gave, that's it. That's a warrior.
And do you think that they're two sides of the same coin, or can be?
For sure. It's whatever however you see it, really. And if it helps you on your journey, if it helps you push forward, then that's a warrior. We all have our own interpretation of what that is.
Yeah. Well, bro, it's similar for me, like, I guess the Bruce Lee is like that epitome for me. But if I was to go back like to a kid, it would be either those drawings of those muscly ancestors, which now AI is fucking popping out heaps of. But actually, like the ultimate warrior of wrestling, bro. Like, I was real sad to watch documentaries that he was a dick in real life to a lot of people, because and I think that raw energy, bro, was what I used to picture a warrior being like. But always on the good side. Like, I never thought a warrior would be a baddie,
Yeah.
And that can also be on whose storyline you're in, on which side is the baddie, eh?
Yeah.
You realize when you get older. But kia ora, bro. I 100% resonate with that buzz, and male or female, bro, because like wahine toa, bro, like our women of our culture are staunch, and a lot of them are warriors, and like then go even further, our warrior women of all races, bro, like especially when it comes to the maternal instincts of nurture, but fierce protectors of their bubbas, all those women who are delving deep into overcome their own stuff are warriors for me. Like it's a person now, it's not a male, like I think that's where I've evolved to. And like, bro, you would have seen it or felt it as well, like some of the wahine on the jiu-jitsu circuit, bro, like savage, like, and technical, like, whoosh. And also, bro, if I just go back to the whare, a lot of wahine warriors there, bro, like that was a cool space to connect with you on there. Just, we're going to go into that journey, and then I reckon we wrap it up, because I'm all about promoting, uplifting. Like for me, these are taonga, bro, wānanga, but taonga, and I didn't even know I was going there until I was there in Wellington. Then was like, hey, bro, are you going to this? And you're like, yeah. So you've become a po in that space, but you would have seen, I guess, a lot of warriors coming into that space, to for some of them for the first time to tackle self and trauma and raru. Give us just a little small insight on that and your journey with that for yourself or that space.
The journey within Te Ururangi was it's a beautiful journey. Like everyone I've been to, I've really evolved within myself, and just having so many different reflections of who I am around me, has helped me sort of cement a lot of the tools that I did learn within myself, and I'm still in process of diving deeper into my journey and my connection to that space. And I'm really excited to carry on my journey in that space. There's a lot more things coming up. Other than that, it's hard to explain. You got to be in that space to really feel the essence of the whare itself. But definitely a beautiful space, my brother.
I really enjoyed connecting in that space with everyone there, but also, like, I don't even think we really hung out, but it was just knowing that there was a like mind in the whare with me was enough. And I was there for my own part of my own journey, going through this awakening of becoming a warrior, because I'd already done Way of the Warriors, and it got to this point where I was like, I need to upskill now before I can carry these on. And there was the COVID stuff, bit of that sort of stuff. I was like, it's time for me to do some inner mahi for myself to level up again. But my thing is, I tell a lot of people, like, I'm still processing some of that journey now, and that's over a year ago, I think, because of the Te Ao Māori aspect, bro. It was full on for me, because I guess my knowledge base of reo is like, I know more than I probably give myself credit for, but I know words. So that was hearing sentences, phrases, whakatoki, like just for, was it 3 days? 3 days. And yeah, bro, like, and then realizing the depth of each kupu of each word, like, holy cow. And yeah, just the po, bro, I felt really safe. And even the other brothers, like, I said it as soon as I got there, this is the most tattooed faces I've been around, and everybody's on the journey, like, whoa, this is exciting. So yeah, I was really grateful to connect with you in that realm as well, my bro. So my brother, we're going to wrap up now. So just a couple of things. What's a message you could give to anybody that's looking to go into the inner mahi, and then to start that journey of becoming that warrior? And then what would your advice be to people who are already on the journey and finding that inner warrior and waking that up? So just to each of the sides of that coin. And then we'll sign off, my G.
Yeah, I think happiness, putting that at the front. Your happiness is really important, and do those things that make you happy. You really put that in front of you, and have a think about it, because if you're not happy, then everything else you do is, you're never going to find the joy or the passion in it. You gotta really dive deep into that space. And for those that are sort of already on the journey, just keep building your house strong. Just keep building your house strong. Looking after your well-being. There's so many different there's so many different spaces of what that looks like. It's what we listen to, what we watch, what we eat, the people we're around, our environments, our mental, our physical, our spiritual, our emotional selves. All those different parts of who we are needs to be fed. And there's certain practices and certain techniques and certain things that we can do to help strengthen those spaces. It's not a one fit, it's all.
Yeah.
You got to go and do the certain practice that will help strengthen those certain parts of who you are. And just stay on top. Just stay on top. There's always going to be things that we'll never be ready for. But if we can prepare ourselves for those spaces and just keep strengthening our foundation, a lot of the challenges that are going to come our way become easier. They really do.
Right.
Odi ora.
Odi ora. That is beautiful, brother. And what a feed for the people, bro. And what a way to free the people, G. So, yeah. Aroha nui, brother. Thank you very much for that. Massive loves to you. Massive me, and thank you to you and your whānau for giving you the space to come in and connect, because I know you're the family man, bro. Like, I love that. Again, also inspiring to me. So yeah, brother, you have a safe travel down, and yeah, we'll connect in. I'm going to sign us off here, and yeah, we'll reconnect online and do a follow-up maybe after Way of the Warrior and see how that was for you, my G.
Yeah, okay, my G.
Yeah, I'm going to just turn off the recording now. So big loves, fam. Sure.